And we're back, y'all.
And that's all to say, we out here.
We out here.
And I
We
said, when did you
are.
type A? This was at 10:46. I thought this
Yeah.
happened just now. I'm like, why such a big delay?
All right, let me drop this beautiful bean footage real quick. Since we're in the after hours.
And
I
that
just
intro is
love
dope
it
as fuck.
so much. I just love it.
The intro is so damn dope. I
Yes, we.
love that intro.
It's nice. I
And
just,
Emery, how do you know?
huh?
Emery asked if it was coffee ice cream. I was like, how did you know?
You already know.
Eating it with a fork.
um,
I saw
nice.
Chris said in the middle of me watching the replay.
Yeah. Good, good, good. Oh, I didn't play it last time, so don't worry. Don't worry. Okay.
So what we chatting
So,
about?
what were we talking about, y'all? Because I lost the chat when I had to open a new link. Remind us where we stopped.
Or what do y'all want to talk about?
Mm-hmm. It's
This
after
is the
hours. We should be taking questions.
yeah, this is after hours.
Hmm. Because I know that we just really kind of tried to be broad.
Yeah, we were super broad.
Hmm.
I feel like now is the time to really ask away. Okay. Well, I'm gonna ask you a question, Deidre, just in case
Wait.
people are trying to think of stuff to ask. Um, what are some romances that are currently on your radar?
On my radar, you want new?
Don't have to be new.
Not necessarily. Well,
Uh,
all of them are old. So let me give you what
yeah,
I
right.
plan
All
to
y'all
like.
being shy all of a sudden. Y'all was doing more talking in the
Yeah.
previous
What's up
one
with
than now.
that? Yeah. What's up with that?
Not we chill and lay back right now, and everybody's like, "Oh, I don't know what to say."
Don't be scared. Um, let's see. I had pulled these two out specifically because they're anthologies. So this is Let's Get It On. It's got some
Oh,
real OGs
Francis
in it.
Bay.
Um, I found I've almost always see this at a thrift store or a secondhand bookstore. So I've seen a bunch of copies of it. It was published in 2004 by, what is the publisher? Child, St. Martin's.
St.
Is
Martin's
that the?
Press. It says St. Martin's.
Yeah.
It's St. Martin's Press, which is a subsidiary for. Ooh, I don't think it's Macmillan.
Macmillan, maybe.
Yeah, they are. I thought
Okay.
so. Yeah, they are. Ooh,
Yeah.
I really want some kombucha. I don't have
Ooh.
any.
Oh, I want a churro, please. I need that. And the other one, so I have read this before. It's just been so long that I can't technically count it. as I mean, I don't remember anything about it. And then
Yeah.
this one is super duper old. It has Elin Harris, Marcus
Oh,
Major, who is like my
and
favorite. I've been trying to get you to read that one
I was about to say
book for a while.
when we first started talking, you had told me about Marcus Major.
I don't think he writes anymore, but like I said, he used to be my favorite. He kind of still is. He just hasn't wrote anything in a while.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Got to Be Real, and I've also seen this everywhere, but it's kind of hard to find now that Eric Jerome Dickey has
If
passed
Dickie
away.
has passed away,
Yeah,
I need to get I need to get on thrift books and go
you need to
ahead
get
and
what?
get on thrift books and go ahead and get
Yes,
what I can get. Yeah.
yep. This one came out. It says first printing in December, and it was published by, come on, Penguin.
Mm.
So interesting. Um, I don't know why this is still not a thing that I don't see more often. But other than Carl Weber and um, what is his name? Jaquan Coleman?
Mm.
Can't
Ashley. That's Ashley's husband, correct?
right. Uh-huh. Ashley Antoinette.
Is his name Jaquavis?
Jaquavis. I say Jaquan. I'm thinking Quan and Jaquavis. I put them together. um,
I don't think I've read any of his stuff that he's done
by
outside of
himself.
what he writes with Ashley.
I don't think I have either, but my friend who reads them loves his books too, just as much as the ones that Ashley does on her own and the ones
Okay.
they write as a couple. So I just never picked them up. But I can't think of any black male authors that currently are publishing other than Carl Weber. And
Um
I just, off the top of my
yeah,
head, I
no,
can't
off
think
the
of
top of my head
anything.
I can't think either.
Mm-mm. I
Heather
don't know if this
asks
Colin person is still writing. Colin Channer,
mhm.
Channer.
Not that I don't know. I
I
wouldn't
don't
know. Not off
recognize
the top
his
of my head.
name outside of this book. So
Heather asks, do you have any specific kink, taboo, or paranormal recommendations? You mean by black authors or just in general? Because what I have found that it is harder, and I'm sure they exist, but I've it's been harder to find um certain kinks. Like I like Daddy Kink. Don't know why. But I
I'm
do.
gonna drink to that. I
Yeah, I was thinking Jack Harmon too, by
got
the way,
about
Heather.
that. I follow him on or them on
On
Twitter.
Twitter. Yeah, I follow him on
hmm
Twitter.
But I haven't
Um,
read. I have Meet Cute. I think I have.
I have Meet Cute. Bree got me that book.
Oh, I haven't read it. I have an ebook copy, but I haven't read it yet. But I don't think there's two black characters on the cover of that one. It might be, but I forget. AC author writes paranormal romance.
Yes. Yeah. I you had put that on Twitter not too long ago, right? I feel like you had tagged me in something on Twitter where you had said that. The AC I
In
read
my
my
notes.
first AC Arthur book last year, December, because she was part of the novella series um that they did for the new year. But Heather, um
Oh yeah,
the
we were
author that
answering
I
that
was
question.
reading, the author that I read with the mermaid, the paranormal, um, she specializes, and let me look her name up because I can't remember her name off the top of my head. Um, she specializes in paranormal romances where the actual paranormal creature is black.
Hmm.
Yeah, because the mermaid, it was a black mermaid, and I need to read the second one because it was a hint at the first one, at the end of the first one, it was a hint that we might get a poly situation in the second one. Because she
Mm.
has sex with him, and I'm not even tell you how that works.
No, I think I need to read and find that out for myself.
Yeah, you need to read out in front of her yourself how that works. But she like she was so turned on by it. Um and he basically was like, if you think mermen like can get you off, you haven't met the mermaids yet. And I was like, oh shit.
Okay. So now, Thicarella, is that considered paranormal
I don't know
romance?
because I feel like it depends on I wouldn't classify it as paranormal. I would consider that to be because people don't consider fairy tale retellings to be um a subgenre, but
Okay.
it almost feels kind of like contemporary fantasy, if that makes
Okay.
sense.
Okay.
Um, I'm reading another one by her that's about two people in the music industry. That shit is good
Is
so
it
far.
good?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
good. It's really, really good.
So
Cinderella is on
then,
my hold on, Heather, I'm trying to get that name for you. Her name is Rianne Burnett.
so I should really, I think Jessica Cage is a black author. Does that name ring a bell to you?
Uh-uh.
Well, I'm gonna Google just a second, but they have a book called Gin Rebellion that has a black male on on the cover, and I think he's the main guy. And I started reading it, and I couldn't tell if the other main character was black. So I try to go into these without reading the synopsis, um, especially when it's paranormal, because sometimes they spoil stuff. So I'm not sure about that one. And I know the two characters in this one are black. And I believe the author is black. Let me just get the official name. Oh, that Kindle Unlimited thing is blocking the name of it.
And that's the black romance centering around social justice. You know, Sid, I have not come across an adult romance like that.
Where are we at? Oh, here we go.
Yeah, I have not come across an adult romance that um focuses on social justice. That is super
What's
specific. But which one are you reading right now?
That's just what I was about to ask.
Yeah, because I'd be
This
interested in checking that out.
this one by Shay August, Shai. I assume that's how you pronounce that. Is the Shifter Bachelor? Have you read that? I had never finished it. But I'm halfway through, and it's really good. I just need an audio book to help me sit down and finish it. But it's really good so far. I'm Like I said, I think I'm at 40%. All the or not all, the two main characters in that one are black.
Can you get rid of Jay
Oh
Smith?
yeah, sorry. Here we go. I'm laughing at this. um, okay, I'm glad somebody else is. I didn't finish it, so yeah. I've seen several by Jessica Cage, and I just wasn't sure if they were uh, black because I
You
think
hear
maybe
me? Did you block J? Thank you, Bree. Can you monitor J Smith? Is who I'm talking about.
Block,
Yes, J Smith.
block.
Thank you.
What is
Because
happening?
this fool said, did you see the comment? He said, or whoever it was said, Harriet Tubman wants y'all to scissor each other's bushes.
I missed it, child. No, ma'am, Pam. Sorry, I missed it. I was behind.
Yeah, I was like, block J Smith, talking about
My bad.
what that's all this is, y'all. So offended. I was
Child.
like, I read it and I was like, wait, what? Scissor each other's bushes with Harriet Tubman, and then they said Harriet Tubman is a character in y'all's book, but they spelled y'all's wrong and they corrected themselves. That's crazy to me. That is wild. Okay, some other people were having questions up here. Y'all are moving now. All of a sudden, y'all want to talk. Y'all wasn't talking 15 minutes ago.
Okay.
Wait, someone else. Oh, Britt. The book that I was talking about is called Sated on the Beach. And the follow up is called what's the follow up called? There is a follow up because I've seen it. Her covers are awful. Her covers are really, really awful. But I mean the writing was okay. Ooh, she has an erotic elf tale, but I don't know if that's black people. Oh, Return to the Beach. No one's read that. Maybe I'll be the first one to read that on Goodreads.
Maybe the title was not the best choice.
Not the bushes, the but one shot of that's so disgusting. No, sated on the beach, not sated on the bush. Brit, it literally is mermaid erotica. There is no like strong character development or plot development. Like she's going on the beach to get fucked by a mermaid. Okay, like that's what the book is about. There's no there's nothing else to it. You gotta take it for what it is. Oh gosh. We all talking about we all talking about Jessica Cage? I don't know what y'all I was watching this person comment, so I tuned out of the conversation.
We were. That's the one with the shifter romance. No, that's the one with the Gin Rebellion by Jessica Cage. Yeah. Oh, stop. Dang
No, Brent, you can't have expectations. Not with mermaid erotica, okay? The whole point is trying to figure out how can mermaids possibly how can how can mermaids what tools do they have to make these things happen? And my goodness, do they have tools? Yes, yes, they do have tools. Yeah, we've got a classic for January. I can't. I cannot. I can't. Yes, MRA tools. They have equipment. I wonder if there's an alternative term for but for porn. But you know what's crazy? This book was really like reading mermaid porn. It was nothing like she's going to the beach to get away with her she's going to the beach to get away with her girlfriends, and she goes to the beach and she meets a merman, and they get it on. Character climax, 3 climax structure. Oh, I forgot about The Shape of Water. It's been a minute since I've seen that movie, but he doesn't go flat.
I'm dying.
He doesn't go flat at all. I'm about to put this stuff back in the freezer.
Me too, Alicia. Um, was there another question that I missed? Oh, this is Resistance by Nia Forrester. I feel like I have another book by Nia Forrester.
I mean, I added it on Goodreads. I
Forrester.
it was it was decent, y'all.
Oh,
But
these are in alphabetical order.
I went in with no expectations though. Like I didn't go in um I didn't go in like, oh, I'm expecting this great writing, because I wasn't. I wasn't at all. I mean, it was enjoyable. It was enjoyable. All right. What do I have on my radar?
Yes.
I am currently, I feel like I'm reading everything. I'm not putting any content up until Wednesday of next week. I feel like I'm getting close to burnout.
Oh,
Yeah. So I'm going to take, because I was like, I want to put something up on Monday, but I'm not. I'm going to take a little bit of a break. Um, Let me see here. What am I currently reading on Goodreads, where I'm reading 18 books? Okay. Um, I'm reading The Culmination of Everything, which is Sugar Valley #1 by Christina C. Jones, which is a lot. It's not dark, um, but it's heavy. It's a lot heavier than what I anticipated. I have like an hour of that one left on audio. I'm reading Her Little Secret by Elle Wright. This is a new. I've been reading a lot of those, the group short story compilation. This one is The Women of Park Manor, and this is the first book. The main character in this one is a sex therapist, and I think she started a sex toy company. And then I'm reading Music to My Ears, which is by Glover. Um, and this one is long, so that one is over 300 pages, and there's one, two, three, 4 books, and it follows the characters over 15 years. Yeah. Yep. So it's she is signed to a music company, and she's supposed to be able to make her own music, and it's kind of at a standstill. So she's been like writing and producing for other artists. And then from the guy's perspective, he was I believe he was a child actor, but he wants to be a musician. So the first time that they meet, like they bump heads, horribly bump heads. She's trying to get out of her contract with this music industry. It does have, I know people don't like, it doesn't have a cheating trope, but it has infidelity in it. So some people are not gonna they're not gonna enjoy that element of it. But it's a very interesting insight to what the music industry may look like from the perspective of someone who's involved in it, especially someone who is trying to get in as a new artist, but is being used to create music for someone else.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just about their journey together and um their journey together and their ups and downs, I believe, over the course of 15 years. So I'm excited to read that one. And then on my Kindle,
Kindle.
if that wasn't enough,
I didn't even mention that part.
I have one called An Illicit Seduction, which is by a who is this one by? No, I don't want to mark it as currently reading right now. Okay. Chinsia C. Higgins. I think that's how you say her name. Chinsia or Chinsia. I don't know which one how phonetically she says that. Um, it is a dark erotic romance or dark erotic experience. But I believe that she says somewhere either on Goodreads or something that there is no HEA. So I'm interested with that one. And then
Yeah.
Truth or Dare I have out by Danielle Allen. And then one called Craving a King, which I think is going to be good. So I'll have quite a bit. Check it out. Heather, the Christina C. Jones one that I am reading is the culmination of everything. Just the first book in the Sugar Valley series, which is really good.
My
See,
bad, Ashley.
you're good. I just want more authors to be open about what type of romance they're writing. Sometimes it's like, are these characters black? Is that a white man with a tan or just light skin? Yeah, I think that, especially after the incident with the white women writing black characters, um, and trying to get away with that, um, I do think it's interesting. I think it's interesting because there's been some covers that I've seen on Kindle Unlimited where it's black characters or it's a black character on the cover, and it's popped up when I've searched um like black romance or African American romance. It'll come up and it's by a white author. So I do agree. There needs to be some transparency. You see, Shamla, I read two
Um,
Nicole Falls book novellas, and I'm really enjoying her writing. I love her humor in my romance. I love humor in my. If you like humor in your romance, I also would recommend checking out Ashley Nicole. Um,
mhm,
she's funnier than Nicole Falls to me. Ashley Nicole is fucking hilarious. There's one that I read um, that takes place during Thanksgiving, or is it Christmas? No, it's Thanksgiving. The characters meet one Thanksgiving in the first novella, and then their romance continues leading up, I believe, to Thanksgiving the following year. And there's a chitlin scene in that second book it had me dying. It was really good. And yep. Okay. Yeah, I had the culmination of everything. I've had that sitting in my to be read for a minute, and I don't know why it took me so long to go back and pick it up. But when I started picking it back up today, I really, really, really was enjoying it. It was really good, or it has been really good.
What? Yeah. What is that? Because maybe.
Wait, I'm about to Google it because I gotta know. Wait, what? Not flip flops. What are
Oh,
you talking about? Why would she be throwing flip flops?
I ain't going off on nobody, Shama.
No, don't follow Salter up, man. I can't. Y'all be following him up.
It's just funny to me.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Ashley Nicole's that same author. I read, I think like four. I read four Ashley Nicole books last year. I think. Yeah, I did. She wrote one for the Halloween series, one for the cruise ship series, and then I read two novellas of hers. Yes, I read four of her books last year. I read a lot of her and Nicole Falls last year.
I don't even know that I've read a YA
Who
romance.
are these fucking trolls? Block Potato Head one.
Don't do me like this. I
I'm
didn't even see what they said.
he said I'm
And
looking for something named Big Mama. I
Lord,
can't. I can't. I can't.
I'm gonna have to rethink these titles.
You are because what's the title of this? Oh, Black Love After Hours.
Yeah,
You can't do
invite
that. No.
like trolls. Come here, be here. We're here.
Okay, Shama's question:
Yeah, where'd it go? Okay.
do you guys find that YA romance has more Black love than adult romance? No,
I don't think
no.
I've read a YA romance.
Like like YA contemporary. No, you usually find um no. No, I don't. Um, I'm thinking about the contemporary that I've read. I don't read that much YA romance, to be honest with you. I read a lot of YA realistic fiction, but not so much YA romance. A lot of YA books have romantic elements, but um they seem to be geared towards white males. Like whenever I read YA with black women or black girls, or young girls, teens, whatever, as the main character, their love interest is white.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking about that. Like literally looking at my shelf, and I'm now. I mean, now that I found you, didn't um. That's what I see. Yeah, I don't really. I'm thinking about fantasy, and fantasy is a lot of It's a lot of uh, white guys that come into play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that. Yeah, I think that for me is I see that as being intentional for the target audience and trying to, I don't want to say educate, but really educate and expand their worldview. That is very much so intentional. Um, which makes sense. I get it. I completely get it. Yeah, that's some people's Legendborn. People have an issue with Legendborn because her love interest is white, which I get. I still love the hell out of that book, but I really do respect that opinion that a lot of people have had about it.
I just thought there was not enough, at least if you're not going to acknowledge that you're the only black person on campus, like of your age,
Hmm.
then I don't know. I just would have liked, let me not say if you're not going to do that, I would have liked to have seen Tracy Dion have Bree acknowledge. Because, I mean, as a black person, it's something that I feel like we comment on either subconsciously or consciously out literally out loud when we're in mostly non-black spaces. We make that observation for a number of different reasons, even if it's just, just clocking your environment. And I didn't get any of that uh, from
From her.
Bree or Dion. And I wish she had a friend, an actual friend. I wish that friend was black, but if she wasn't going to be black, let her be an actual friend.
Yeah.
That's neither here nor there.
I have a blanket exemption for black woman Asian man rap. I'm curious if that's also seen as problematic from either the reading or the marketing side. I haven't read one, to be honest with you. I haven't.
Neither.
I have not read Black Women. I mean, I've seen it a lot through because of KU, but I've never read a romance where it was BWAM. I read one a couple years ago. No, I read it last year. I read it last year early. The name of the book was called Hood Letman from a White Boy. Oh, that was interesting. The first one I think I gave 3 stars, and then the second one I gave 2 stars, and I was like, forget it. But it
Um,
was street lit. Yep.
um, yeah.
Yeah. I believe it. I believe it.
Britt, I'm glad to know that. I like to know what I'm getting into with my books. So, I mean, most of the time, if you're gonna, unless it's a thriller I don't like or horror, I don't like to read the synopsis. Was that is that a Blaze of Black?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have my issues with that book for other reasons.
Yeah. Nah, big issue. No, I'm not. But I was reading, trying to make sure I don't get no trolls.
Uh, Song of Race and Ruins. Um, I have issues with the Song of Race and Ruins too.
I like that cover. That was a cover buy for me.
It was a cover by for me too, but it only ended up being a 3.75 star rating. Technically, it should have been like a 3 or a 3.5.
I didn't finish it. I think I started out on page 60. I think I will finish it one day.
Not one day.
One day.
It was the way you said it. It was the way you said it. I think I'll finish it one day.
I just it didn't grab me
It
in them
did.
60 pages.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's like what? It's like 400 pages or so. I need to give it more time, but
I thought the bisexual rep in that book was garbage, but
mm,
that's me.
Mm.
That's me.
Oh, what are we talking about here?
Black women, Asian men.
Okay.
Which honestly I don't see a lot of in real life.
No.
Unless it's an Asian woman and a black man. I don't see I don't see other races jumping to date black women. That's my whole point. That's what I'm trying to say.
Not much.
I don't really
Mm-hmm.
ever see other races that are jumping to date black women, which is such a you're missing out, man.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay.
Now that was a whole mood and a whole movement. Yeah, for real.
Uh,
Um, I ain't even gonna put it up there because
what?
it was not. It's not a troll. I highly agree. We could start there all night. um,
Okay, okay,
yes, I didn't know it
yeah.
was adult. I didn't know it was the
Yeah,
adult
yeah.
thing.
I didn't know it was a marriage of convenience until I saw Chloe. Did you talk about this already? Or am I tripping? I feel like you've already talked. I mean, outside of here, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I figured out that it was a marriage of convenience. Um, yeah, Alyssa Cole has that book with the Asian AI. She does. Y'all stop trashing Legend Boy, man. Ooh, y'all about to get blocked, man. Y'all not finna dog out one of my favorite books in 2020. Y'all tearing it to shreds. Bree, what you mean you just hear in the background? Oh, you're listening. Dang. I can't believe black women are considered the bottom, yet everybody wants to do plastic surgery to fucking look like us. They want to tan, want to get their hair braided like us, want to talk like us, want to have asses like us, lips like us. But that's what is crazy. Go tanning to get as dark as us.
Like get the extensions and the weave and the
Talking AAVE. I said, damn, as much
all
as y'all hate
braids.
us, you sure enough want to be like us. That is so fascinating. I
Oh,
have
we the
never
worst.
met, I have never seen stuff like this.
It's crazy. Wait.
Not Salter talking about as long as fans only survives the heat, we're good. You're absolutely right. Fans only was a steamy romance. My goodness gracious, that was ridiculous. I mean, they're having sex for money. And not us to talk about Cough the Kardashians. That's exactly who I had in mind. Getting their lips plumped up, getting ass implants. Like, I can. Extensions, getting cornrows. That is crazy. They over out here. You get an ass, you get a tan, you get some lips. Everybody gets an ass. Oh gosh.
Mm, yeah.
No, everybody in Ray Bear is not black. I disagree with that.
Are not? Who's not
No,
black in there?
someone is South Asian in that book. The description. One of the characters in that book is South Asian.
Trying to remember who. Like one of the main characters?
He's not a main. He depends on how you define main characters.
Like part of the council.
Huh?
Was he part of the council?
Yep. He's part of
Okay.
the council.
That's
Yeah.
what I was meaning. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
was
Yeah. Yeah.
meaning in
Yeah.
that particular. Man, my mouse is tripping.
Yeah. He's described as being South Asian. Everybody in Ray Bear is not black. Those character descriptions, man. And the only reason why I know that is because I paid closer attention because I did that Dreamcast.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, chop them up on the table, man. Chop them up on a table. And they love it. They love it. They absolutely love it.
I forget so many of those. I just bad about characters' names. Um, but yeah.
Want to see? Oh, for Ray
Um,
Bear? When does the sequel for Ray Bear come out?
they've already talked about it.
I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it.
It
I'm
came out
not.
in November, right? No, it came out sooner than that. It
What are you talking
came
about?
out
I'm talking
before
about
that.
the sequel.
No, I'm saying Ray Bear. The when did
Oh,
it
oh, it came out
originally
in
drop?
September.
December,
September.
September.
I think it was September.
Yeah, I think you're right because I bought Cemetery Boys at the same time.
And that came
Yeah.
out in September, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What about the love interest in Slay? Um, I feel like Slay had a dual thing going on low key.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it came out in
um.
August.
Uh. Yeah, that was something else.
That's
That's a
tricky.
conversation to. I don't know if that's a conversation to be had in this context because Malcolm kind of represented some tricky concepts. I
Which is
don't know
why
how to say it.
I wonder if his name Malcolm was intentional.
Probably, I would imagine.
I think Malcolm was very intentional. Like her using Malcolm was very intentional.
Hmm. Yes.
Yes, it is to black love interest.
Hmm.
Queer it too.
Oh, it jumped on me. Yeah, I'm so bad about. I don't do arcs, but like
Just
details.
release dates,
What
yeah,
are
release
those?
dates in general.
What are those? What? I don't know if I'm salty. I think it served a purpose. I kind of. I wasn't mad at it for it. But it was doing a lot, and not in a bad way.
You mean with the initial like
It's hard to go into it without spoilers. But the way he kind of acted in the end was, I think there was, uh, I don't know exactly what Morris was trying to say by having him
uh-huh,
be the way that he was,
uh-huh,
but I think she was trying to say something, and and I just don't, you know, it's something that we deal with
uh-huh.
in the Black community. I would say, like, to a certain extent.
I feel like it was a hotep gone wrong type of situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a hotep that took it too far. But
Mhm.
um I can see what people can get out of that
Mhm.
or why people wouldn't like that element. But I think
Mhm.
that it does show the extremes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it does show the extremes. Um, and once again, I think that kind of goes back to what we were talking about in the initial live show of like, um,
Yeah.
of how what publishers like how you know what I'm saying? How much hands do
Mhm.
these editors and publishers have into them? I mean, I'm
I
not
don't know.
denying that what people put out is their original work, but I wonder what type of edits go on behind the scenes that we don't know about.
Yeah.
I think that's, you know, I think that's an interesting element to kind of consider.
Mhm. I certainly try to make sure, especially now that I have become more aware of certain things and just older and having some life experience, I've certainly tried to make sure that when I read something that I don't necessarily like or understand what the author is trying to get at,
Hmm.
I'll try to find an interview or read that author's note that's in the back of the book sometimes to see if they try to explain themselves or if I can get a little bit more perspective. But I can't say that I did that for Slay.
Yeah.
I don't remember if I read the acknowledgments on that one. It's one of the very few what first books with a black main character about gaming that I've ever read. So I kind of feel protective of it a little bit. And I don't know why I am that way. It's just some of those books that are first for me, I just kind of like me and Britt were talking about with the Dark Fantastic, when you have those shows um, where there's one black character, but it's a well loved show, and there's so many problems with how that black character is portrayed. For example, in like Lisa on Saved by the Bell,
Hmm.
you still want to hold that character um, close, you know, and that's kind of how I feel
Yeah.
about that book, even though I totally get some of, if not all of the criticisms about it. It was just one of the first that I read, and it was like, oh,
Yeah,
but
no, I definitely. I'm looking. I'm laughing at something. Yeah, it is an oxymoron. A hotep gone wrong because you
Mhm.
know you know. But I maybe I should phrase it as it's a hotep who's gone extremely like he's gone. I don't know how to say it, except it is like a hotep that's gone extremely wrong. I mean, already being wrong, but going extremely wrong.
Mm.
I think I hold the same kind of regard for Slay. Um, because it was the first time that I mean, even after reading, you know, something like The Hate You Give, um, I feel like I connect it with Slay more, um, because I felt like certain things were directly addressed in a better way.
Mhm.
Um, and you know, I look at my annotated copy and seeing me make notations saying like, "Oh my gosh, I remember when this happened to me." In
Mhm.
high school or you know I've had to deal with this microaggression and stuff like that. I don't know, it's just that book holds kind of a special place for me as well, so
Mhm. Yeah. um. Yeah. That's just kind of how I feel. I'll reread it soon-ish, maybe sometime this year. Just see how I feel. I'm not a big rereader, but
mhm.
I'm I'm starting to see how that is a good thing to do, um, especially with some of these books that we talk about often. And I know that I'm not the same person that I was when I read Slay in May 2020. I think it was,
Yeah,
or maybe it was later than that. Maybe like June 2020. So definitely not the same person, and I have different experiences that I can draw on now when I go back and reread it. Yeah,
y'all
Ashley
I
talks
meant
about this one a lot.
y'all I meant I meant the fact that he's listen, you get what I meant when I said a hotep gone wrong.
Hmm. Hmm.
I know he's wrong to begin with, but I mean like past that level of wrong. Like, read the book. If you read the book, you'll get what I mean. That you
Yeah.
you read the book, you'll get it.
Hmm.
Um, and the book that was good is this is yeah. Yeah, I think Kim Johnson's book looks at racism, um the implications of racism not only for black people but also white people who are raised um in racist homes.
Mm.
Not from the indie side because it's kind of hard to gauge when they're going to publish books. You don't know that they're publishing books until they've been published.
Hmm.
So, um anticipated releases is kind of a tough thing, except the book, unless it's already out. It's called Sweet Hand. It takes place in Trinidad and Tobago.
Mm. I
Yeah,
think I just heard about that recently. I need to look at the cover.
I believe that it had already been independently published.
Is that
But
2 words? Oh,
um
I see it in the chat.
yeah, it's copycat. Yeah.
Oh, this cover looks exactly like something else I've seen.
Mimi Grace's covers look like that.
Okay. So
Um
I think I thought this was something else.
Yeah, this one
Or
is
a different
actually
book.
already this one has already been published before, but it got picked up by some.
Oh,
Yeah.
that Island Bites #1. Sounds good.
Okay, so indie for the US, traditional published for UK. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it comes out on the 30th of March. But it was indie, I think it came out last year
Hmm.
in in some places. But yeah. I'm excited for that one. Oh, I didn't know that, Heather. Woo, woo. Leland's book was a, but you know how I feel about Leland's book.
You don't
I
like
felt very.
Leland?
It's not that I don't like Leland. It's that Kim's storyline was strange as a
That's kind of
parent.
weird.
It was very strange as a parent reading that. It was the way that that one ends up. Um, it was a weird dynamic because of her son. Like it was just weird, and it didn't lower my enjoyment, but I just had a difficult time working through her son's crap, you know, because of how all that played out. So it's not that I didn't enjoy Leland's stuff. It's just I think that being a parent added a different layer to that story for me that maybe someone else who read it. I don't know. I still gave it 4 stars. Um, I still enjoyed it, but it was strange.
Okay. Don't kill me, Ashley. But my cat, I should have done this in that second bedroom. My cat won't shut up because I am not in the bed and Bay's in the bed. And so he's literally running up and down the stairs, yeah, meowing. That's why I keep muting myself. So I need to either get off here and just turn off my. I don't want to just turn mute in my camera because we're here together. But
You can turn if you want to turn your camera off. You can.
okay, let me mute myself and I'll jump in when I can. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, that's fine.
If I have to go though, because he's keeping Bay up. Because
Okay. Shauna, has anyone read The Runaway Royals? I have not. That's by Lisa Cole, right? I still haven't finished the first one. I yeah. I haven't finished. I'm sitting here looking at it. I read A Princess in Theory and A Duke by Default, but I have not read A Prince on Paper or the two novellas or the first one. In context of production of all first books, not just like mixed-skin daughters. Um, I I'm trying to go back through my head. Um, I think so. When you say now, clarify this for me because when I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about representation in terms of like, are you talking about their relationship being the center of the book? Are you talking about their relationship is just discussed in the book? Because I think I have an example of where it was done well, but I don't know exactly if it is what you mean. Okay, let's see here. Heather, when did she announce the NBA series thing with Leland's team? That's gonna be good. Okay, Pages has said, can we talk about how most of the popular? Oh, Heather, I just not saw your comment. Can we talk about how most of the popular sports movies are all white characters unless it's hockey? How is that realistic? Um, it's not, but you know who has good sports romance? Nicole Falls. Nicole Falls has done sports romance. I believe. Uh, who else has done? Why am I blanking out? And the actual covers are. It's about the football team, and the actual covers have. Um, it looks like a football playbook. Dang. Hold on. Let me see if I. And two people did that book. Why? Damn. Why can I not? Oh, Love Belvin, the Connecticut Kings, is a football um romance. Sorry, y'all. My throat is itching. I feel like I ate something that my allergies are flaring up. But I definitely would check out Nicole Falls does sports romance, and then that romance I believe is a I feel like the Connecticut Kings, someone else is on. Is Christina C. Jones part of that one? I can't remember. Okay, Alexandra Warren has a b-ball one. Is it Alexa Martin, Britt? No, okay. It's Christina C. Jones, and yeah, okay. I thought it was Christina C. Jones who did that. Okay, she told you for one of your most anticipated releases video. Okay, okay. Sorry, y'all. I'm catching up. Britt, are you talking about? Were you answering my question when you said Alexa Martin?
I think I'm behind on comments. I'm sorry, Ashley.
No, 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 no. I can see the comments. I
Okay.
yeah, I wasn't sure. I was running my mouth and I wasn't looking. I just got Farrah Rashawn's football romance last week because it was free. for Super Bowl weekend. Okay, okay, okay. Alexa Martin. I don't think I. Oh no 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 no! I wasn't talking about Alexa Martin. I feel like there's another one that I'm not thinking of. I have this list, y'all, on my I have this list on Amazon where I go through KU stuff and I tag it and I create a list. So I had one that I actually shared with everyone um last year. It was Black Indie Holiday Romance. I have one that is private that is a just a Black Indie Romance TBR in general. And I'm trying to see if I have any more hold on. Let me see what this one is about. Non-historical. Rebecca Weatherspoon just came out with a cowboy series, I believe, that is Black Love. Um, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that it is a Black Love cowboy romance.
Brenda Jackson has an old series called The Westmoreland Brothers. Um, any of those books, all the Westmoreland brothers are Texas ranchers, and so
Uh,
technically cowboys. They do ride horses and such. Um, I used to love it, but I haven't read all the books in that series. But any of, like I said, the ones that are the Westmoreland brothers, she has another series called the Medeiros brothers, which I think they're like cousins of the Westmoreland brothers or something. But they're also billionaires, or not, maybe not billionaires, but they're very wealthy, and they, or I think it's maybe the Medeiros family. I think I said brothers, but it's mostly the men of that family that we follow in the series, and that one's by Brenda Jackson.
I'm trying to figure out, y'all, if okay, Tiye Love is one that I had marked to read, which is it is a psychologist and an NFL quarterback. If anyone is looking for more, it's called the Endgame trilogy. I just wanted to make sure I had that right. So yeah, Westmorelands. I think I have the very, very first book in that series on my shelf or on my purse somewhere, somewhere, somehow. I believe I have that. Started white romance with that, but I just start changing the voice. Oh goodness gracious. I believe that also for Cowboy, um, Laquette has one coming out called Jackson. Um, it's not out yet. It just has a beautiful black man on the cover. Um, and this one looks like it's going to be a cowboy romance as well. At least because the series is called Restoration Ranch. So I'm guessing that it is a cowboy romance. But it doesn't come out until next week. Um, Oh, it's a Texas Ranger romance. So that's another one if you're looking for a cowboy. The one, is she the new president of RWA? That's been on the struggle bus for forever and a day. Um, I was about to say something. I forgot what I was about to say, y'all. Damn, how did I forget what I was about to say?
We're talking about cowboys.
No, no, no,
Okay.
no. I don't. Oh, that's what I was about to say. This one is not explicitly the one that I'm reading right now. Um, my memory is starting to go. I'm so convinced. The In the Heart of the Valentine series is, I don't want to exactly say that it is explicitly billionaire, but those brothers are rich as fuck. um, and it ties into the Rose Family series that she's done as well. So that's another one that you could possibly look into. Are there any hood romances that are problematic or stereotypical? If that's even possible. Problematic in what way? Like, define that for me. What do you mean by that? it's from scratch is I think the romance elements are good if you don't mind insta love, but I do like the representation of the poly relationship. Um, but you'll see what I mean, Britt. The conflict is a little iffy. Not a little. Conflict is comes out of left field, which I think most people have a problem with the conflict of that book. What other questions do y'all have? Brown Book Series 2020. I want to interview with Brandon Jackson doing overlap with the Black Cowboys is fun. All right, I'm gonna have to look at that because I feel like the Westmoreland's um series is so extensive. Is it not? Is it super extensive? Problematic is in the first line is all inward this, hug that, like let's ease into it, or full of misogyny. I mean, it depends on who you pick up too. I also feel like um I don't know if something that I would consider problematic because of the context of the book. I think that um it is representing, I don't want to say a certain group because I don't want to put that on anybody. I think it is representing certain things, and that may be a part of what it's representing. So, in that part, it doesn't mean that the author necessarily agrees with the behavior, but it's behavior that you would see within these groups, if that makes sense. I don't view it. I personally don't view it as problematic. I mean, I don't. Um, Yeah, I don't view it as problematic. Can it get kind of like wild? Yeah. I think that it can, but I also think that they are great stories. I think you just can't go into I just don't think that you can go into street lit with the same mentality that you would have reading, a contemporary book, because it'll throw you off. And street lit is not, that's what Deidre and I were saying in that conversation before. I don't feel like street lit necessarily always has the equivalent of romance, meaning that I don't think that romance I don't think that romance should be so um our perception of romance in like contemporary books should not necessarily be applied to street lit, because sometimes saying romance can be a stretch, to be honest. Yeah. Some of them are bad. I think, but I think that's with any, you know, that's with any subgenre or anything like that. You're gonna find those that are in there um that are not good. And I haven't read an extensive amount myself. I would never say that I'm like, oh, I'm 100% well versed. I'm not. Um, but honestly, I mean, she is a household name. But Ashley Antoinette and Jaquavis are both two good authors to kind of slide into street lit. Um, they're usually pretty well written. Some stuff, we were talking about Moth to a Flame, and like there's some plot holes that happen for the sake of the craziness. Because the two of them are known for their plot twists. Their plot twists are they're crazy, but they're good. They're good to me. If you're super into whimsical romance or certain tropes, I think that um it'll throw you off going into, because you're not gonna find that whimsical light feeling is non-existent. I mean, not at all. They're pretty hardcore in my opinion. I think on the street lit last few years we're talking about the use of the N-word, but that's how people. Yeah, yeah. We could have a whole discussion about that. A whole discussion about that. Some people don't feel comfortable with it, um, but I don't. I'm in the vein of it doesn't bother me. It doesn't
I
bother
am
me at all.
also in that vein. Just for
Yeah,
the record, it doesn't bother me. That's how people talk. That's how I talk. It's
yeah. It's
fine.
it's it's clear cut representation. Like, uh, I know it bothers some people, but it don't really phase me, to be honest. What do you think of some folks who automatically equate black indie romance like Christina C. Jones to urban romance? They don't understand subgenres, because I would never put Christina C. Jones in that category. She writes contemporary romance. I think
Mm.
that there are some people who think that dropping the N word means that it's an urban book or a street lit book, but that's much to be said about them and not the work itself. But that is my opinion.
I wonder if people are equating, to some degree, maybe even subconsciously equating indie black romances with urban slash street lit.
Mhm.
I'm wondering if that's happening.
Say that one more time.
I'm just wondering if people are equating all the works that Christina C. Jones and people who independently publish,
Uh-huh.
like if it comes up on Kindle,
Uh-huh.
Unlimited, maybe it's street lit to some degree.
Yeah, I
I'm
think so.
wondering.
I think so.
Mhm.
I really do. I think there are people who think that it is the equivalent of street lit without even having opened up a book, which is quite disappointing. But um, it would explain. But then, you know, I'm of the view that if you read something and you don't like it, you don't like it, But I understand how you dislike something that you've never read. How do you know anything about it?
I don't know.
That's
That's petty.
that's crazy. It's petty. It is petty. It's super petty. Yeah, I don't like that. I feel like that's pretty fucked up. Like, um, and then to me, that's low key. I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna leave it alone because we can get into a lot about that. Um,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
a lot of people like that, and I don't. I think a lot of some of maybe those. I never mind. I don't want to make a generalization, but yeah, they're
yeah,
they're they're pretty
and
vocal about
they're super vocal about the fact that they don't like the use of it, um, even though it is romance, it's black romance written by black authors with black characters. Um, I personally don't agree with it. I think that there's a much more nuanced conversation that needs to happen behind even the use of that word, um, and why people feel empowered to use that word. Um, because I'm going to give you an example. We as a community say what when people are identify as LGBTQIA plus, two spirited. I mean, the list can go on. What do we say? We say that it has queer rep, right? Queer is a slur. Queer was a slur. If you ask people who are from the 50s and 60s or whatever, that they won't use that word because they find that word still to this. And I know this because I sat and I went through a training and we were talking about it. It was a training specifically talking about the safety and inclusion for LGBTQIA plus youth. And there were older individuals in there that, say they understand why younger people use the word queer, why they feel empowered to use the word queer, but they refuse to use the word queer because it was used as a derogatory term and a slur. I'm not saying that it's the equivalent or that the oppression um, that occurs with one word and the other are equivalent. However, I think that disregarding someone's whole body of work um, because of the use of the word in terms of representation, for me, is a problem. If you choose not to use the word, that's fine. That's you know I feel like I feel like I feel like that's fine. That's your decision. That's your choice. That's what you choose to do. There's nothing, I can't tell you, oh, you need to be called. No, but to disregard a whole body of work or to disregard an author for using that word when it is a word that is used in the Black community, not in a derogatory way. And these books are accurate accurate representations of the communities that they're trying to represent. To disregard an author and their whole body of work for that, to me, is not right. That's me.
I have to agree with you
Yeah,
on that. But
I
I
don't.
think it's happening. I didn't want to. I didn't want to say it, but like, I don't see, because like how we said in the first conversation, like what you see when you go to the shelves, when you go to the romance section on the different websites, to get to the street lit part, you have to look for that stuff. You have to want to find it, right?
Mm,
Or to get to, even to the black romance on the websites, you have to want to find it. So if you're thinking, oh, I read one book and it had the N word in it, and I found it this way, and it was under this category, then all those books must be like that. I think a few people are doing that, unfortunately. And I don't think that's right.
yeah, I. I I don't know, and I feel like there's also this conversation to appease white readers of black love romance. You know, I've seen it too, where it's specific language should not be used because of white readers and their level of comfort. I don't give a fuck about white people feeling comfortable reading books that are intended to be representations of certain parts of the black community. That's not the end goal. That is appeasing to the white gaze. And, you know, for me personally, I feel like black people have got to get away from that. Like, stop trying to create narratives that make white people feel comfortable. Because at the end of the day, it's not our job to represent what our community stand for only in only in a way that makes it comfortable for white people to read them. That's not our job. Like, I don't feel like that's right. I don't feel like that's okay. I don't feel like that's something that needs to be done, because what you're then asking is for people to betray communities that they have grown up in, their own life experiences, to appease to making white people feel comfortable. And that's not right. That's not fair. That once again you're catering to what white society wants you to do to make their life easier. And too many times, too many groups, too many, you know, I can only speak in perspective in black experience. It's too many times that black people have been asked to do stuff like that, to appease to white people, to dress a certain way, to talk a certain way. Now you want to say that black people should write a certain way in order to appease white readers? I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair at all. But there are people who believe that. He's used the N word in multiple of his books. Ooh, I would love to read that. Shawnee's Stephen King loves the word like people like so he can't help himself, man. He can't. He really can't. I don't know why he I don't know why. I don't know why he feels so at liberty.
I meant to put that person in timeout, but my bad.
Oh, I didn't even see what they said.
It was just some forward slashes. I
Oh.
don't.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I do. I yeah. Salter, I'm just looking at your comment. You don't have to click on it, Deidre. I'm just kind of backtracking a little bit. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree. We're not a monolith. There are going to be people who are okay with using it and people who are not, and everybody has their reasons for using it, and people have their reasons for not using it, and those reasons on either side of the argument are valid. I can't take away someone's. I'm not going to take away another black person's feelings for or not against the word, but um, it's my issue when we want to build this proximity to whiteness and making white people feel comfortable. It's a problem. And in this conversation about using the N-word in black indie romance, I feel like a lot of that has to do with proximity to whiteness, wanting to feel um close to whiteness, which affects a lot of folks. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, it's fulfilling that and making white people feel comfortable appealing to white gays. And I don't know whether that's a marketing tool. I don't know whether they feel like I don't know whether they feel like that's the only way that they're gonna make money is if they do that, and there's something to be said about publishing and its consumers. Yeah. Yeah, Sharon Draper, Walter D. Myers, those are OGs. Kimani True, you know, all that stuff was created to give black readers some space in whatever genre or age categorization that they were going for. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm going once again, I'm backtracking. Yeah. Can Unlimited has so many great books for black romance, paranormal, that doesn't mean urban though, and to be honest, some people yeah, that's why I don't like using that word. Because the term urban for me, I think, has certain connotations that I've seen that I'm not okay with. That I'm not okay with at all. Yo, I don't know, y'all. Um, I I'm still going back to Sid's comment. I'm still thinking about that. I'm still thinking about that. I really am. I'm
Which
still thinking
one?
like with just Sid's comment about the use of the N word
Hmm.
and because I feel like it's some stances on that have been detrimental to um to black indie authors. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
I feel like it's been detrimental because I feel like some people take people's word as law,
Yeah.
and you know, dang. Well, since JL uses it and Wings Happening, I'm very intrigued about reviews and commentary from BookTube that's gonna come. It's gonna come out. You mean Sid? You mean what I just said? Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you are, yeah. I mean, I've seen it with my own two eyes. Um, I'm not talking in what I'm saying. I'm not talking in hypothetical. I'm definitely talking about things that have happened.
Hmm.
Yeah, Draper is good. She's Draper and Walter Dean Myers and Sharon G. Flake. Um, those are some powerhouses that were moving and shaking in in children's lit. Um, so they paved the way for people like Nick Stone, Jason Reynolds, Angie Thomas, all the people that you see now writing um, children's middle grade YA. Those are your founding individuals who did a lot of work. Christopher Paul Curtis is another one off the top of my head. Um, yeah, they did some work, man. They did some serious work in creating gateways for some authors that BookTube gushes over right now. But the OGs, I don't ever feel like they get the respect that they deserve. To be honest with you, thank you for pushing my chaotic bookshelf tour. It was not organized at all, and I got aggravated doing that entire. That's a once year type of thing. I'll never do that again until I get the nerve to do it next year. But it won't happen again this year. What other questions do y'all have?
There was a question earlier about any 20. Well, I know you said it's hard for indie, but I didn't have any 2021 um,
Indie? Yeah, I don't.
black romance traditionally published
Oh, traditionally published?
on my radar because I don't know what's out there as far as
Um,
black love goes.
yeah, as far as Black love goes, um, yeah, I don't think I have a lot on my radar. I don't know. Like traditional, I don't have a lot on my radar, to be honest with you. And then about financial like conversation we have and share with us releasing books and publishing. Yeah. I actually am helping teach a course at work this upcoming week about children's books and publishing and its lack of diversity and how I could do a whole maybe one of these days I'll do a video on it on my channel, but it's super intense. The history behind it is very it's it's awful. It's really awful. The stuff that has come out, which a lot of it has won. Um, the one, hold on, I'm about to answer. You said, because I'm, I had something to say about that, but um, there are children's books out there that have won the Newbery and the Caldecott Award, and they've been stereotypical and racist as hell. So children's lit has made leaps and bounds, but it's not where it should be just yet. They're trying to create. I mean, they're trying to fix a lot of issues that they had. But that's a part of book. BookTube doesn't really. I mean, I know we have people who specifically focus on children's books and middle grade books, but like knowing the history behind that from the back end is really, really interesting, which was a lot of technical stuff that I ended up learning in graduate school. Um, it's crazy. It is. It is. It's super, super crazy. Um, yeah. Okay, so I read Farrah Roshan's. Good night, Aaron. I read Farrah Roshan's first book, The Boyfriend Project, and I still feel like it's women's fiction. I don't feel like it's romance. And I don't know if the second book is going to be romance, but that first book is definitely more women's fiction than romance. And I wish they would start marketing things appropriately because I think that it went, I think that it, Um, I think that the ratings on it were a little bit lower than what it could have been had it been marketed right. But that's just me. Alyssa Cole is traditionally published. Um, yeah, she does have a new one coming out. That's in her Runaway Royal series, but I'm not anticipating it because I haven't read the first series yet. So what's the point? Um, no, I don't think that's. I don't think that that's. I don't think that's wrong. I mean, I think everybody has their limits on what they want to deal with in terms of black trauma. Like, black trauma doesn't bother me as much. Um, so I read a lot more of it. Um, but I mean, it's whatever your speed is, your mileage. Have you read the graphic novels? Typically associated read it as books, reading novel. The author and illustrator are white. No, I have not. But I can tell you from the comic book world and the graphic novel world, always check the artists and the writers because the comic book world and the graphic novel world are not, it's not a diverse place at all. So make it a habit um, to check unless you're familiar with writers and artists. I would always double check.
Chloe, Afar isn't by I is it by a black author or illustrator? Is that what you're saying?
That is not.
Dang. It's
Yeah.
beautiful though. I really like
Yeah, it's
I enjoy
beautiful.
that. It's pretty. I like the story too. But you know what? I think maybe I just assumed that because of the cover. Pretty sure. I don't think I did my due diligence with that one. For sure.
Everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, it's not mine yet." Yeah, I would be careful anytime that you're dealing with graphic novels. I would be mindful. Um, no, I haven't read New Kid yet. The Newbery Award last year and the Caldecott were very significant because um they all went to black authors and artists, both the Newbery and the Caldecott, which has never happened before. And if I'm not mistaken, they were all black men because it was New Kid and I'm fucking bugging. New Kid, I believe, won for both. I think New Kid won the Newbery and the cow. It might have won the Newbery and the. Okay, so the Newbery went to. I'm trying to figure this out. Newbery went to New Kid. The Caldecott went to the Undefeated by Kwame Alexander and Kadir Nelson. But yeah, they're both. I mean, I haven't read New Kid yet, but if you have a little one and if you have a little one, I would recommend getting the Undefeated. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful picture book. One of the best picture books that I've ever read. Just this person that black trauma doesn't burn you out because yeah, it. I don't. I never feel like I don't know what that says to me about a person. I mean, as a person, because I remember you saying that now. Um, it doesn't burn me out as much as I like think that it will. Um, I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Wow. Yeah. Check artist. Yeah. Yeah. Sean is right. Twins is a middle grade novel, graphic novel by Black author and illustrator as well. Wait, Salt, are you talking about me? What does that mean? Deidre, what does that mean? What does a cast iron nerve mean?
I'm thinking they mean that you can just keep going and just plow through all the black trauma books. Cause
Oh.
you do be on them, boy. You do be on. He said,
Yeah. I was like, are you talking about me? Um, yeah. But Salter, like I said last night, I think I screwed myself up this month. I think I'm kind of in a reading slump because I read Black Book and The Gilded Ones and The Yellow Wife all in the same month. That was dumb. That was the stupidest decision I've ever made. Teacher, I texted
I
you.
I'm sorry.
No, I said I texted you.
Okay. Um, so I don't have any on my radar. I'm just gonna read through my what I already have.
Okay.
Is what I think I'm gonna do for 2021.
Okay.
I'm trying not to spoil the one video that you know that is coming.
Okay.
Um, but once I do that, I'll be able to talk more. But so I'm gonna work through that TBR.
That TBR.
Hmm.
How many books is that though?
I'm looking at
You,
them right now.
oh,
So
but so
3, 6,
I was say it feels like it's a lot.
9. There's 12 of them.
That's a lot, teacher.
It's a lot for me because I don't read very fast, and I don't know. I've looked for a few of them on audiobook, and
Mm,
not very many are available in audiobook.
yeah.
So, but that's also going to be my non. I'm not going to be able to buy anything other than anticipated releases that I've already pre-ordered, as far as um, other genres. So I'm not going to be buying any other books until I read those, and then I'll buy the next set.
Okay. That's
Hmm.
smart. I was trying to do the same with like no buying,
Yeah.
but then I went to a comic book store this week.
Uh-oh. Oh, well, dang, because I got that
Yeah.
manga store right across around the corner.
Mhm.
Does the manga count? I don't know.
Yeah, it does. I definitely I screwed myself up. Um
Yes. I'm
oh
so
gosh,
happy to
yeah.
hear that. I'm so happy to hear that.
Oh, Read Love Listen, is the Gilded One super violent? Yes, it is. It is. It was so violent that this WOC reader can tell you because yeah, she read Wings of Ebony and the Gilded Ones back to back, and that threw her off. Yeah. And I had just come off of reading The Yellow Wife, and I picked up the Gilded Ones. Um, and me and Miss WOC Reader had talked about it on Twitter because I had I'd posted an update and was like, I knew that it was violent because people had said that it was going to be violent, the graphic violence, because it is based off of her traumatic experiences of being in Sierra Leone. But I read 15% of the book and had to stop because it was the first time. I don't think I've ever read a YA book, and it had me questioning for a second. Like I went on the publisher site because I was like, "Am I? Is this like? Am had did I mess this up and think that this was the age categorization was adult and not YA?" Um, and it's YA, but it's the first time I think that I have read a YA book that has been so violently graphic. I mean, even a scene towards the end, I was like, the imagery of it was supposed to be a calm scene, but the imagery of the scene was shocking. It was strange. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree, Miss W. Like, I agree. I feel like it could have been published adult. I almost think it should have been published adult. I think that she's teetering. She's playing with that line. I don't think structurally in terms um of like writing and and what I look at when I think about YA, when I think about like writing style and stuff like that, but the content itself is so graphic that I would be hesitant in giving that book to my kids. Like I wouldn't there's only certain kids that I work with that I would give that book to because I just don't think that they would content wise I don't know if I would recommend it. Um it's a very interesting book, but yeah, yeah. Um I would say to you that it is a graphic book. No Sense and Sensibility. Yeah, I like Sense and Sensibility. It's one of my favorite Austins. I'm between three books, Ballad of Black Tom. The author of the Ballad of Black Tom just did a comic. Well, he didn't just do it, but I just read it, and it was good. Trying to live him. I believe no bias is the spirit of the white man trying to steal your joy. And no, it's just another one of these black books. Oh gosh, and I'm a believer of teen characters makes it YA. Yeah, 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 yeah. It was very different from because Penguin did that, correct? Penguin put that one out, and it is very different than anything that I've seen them do. And I was shocked. I was really, really shocked that it's targeted at a YA audience. Yeah. I mean to be um for the stuff that I have read and to be at my age, I think, and to go into the book and just the gravity of and you know what's crazy as I had said about the pacing of that book is that it definitely is one where her pacing was fast and slow. I felt like the pacing was fast and slow because she knew that that book was so intense. She knew that you needed to have moments to recover in that book. It was That book is wild. I did get my manager and my coworker to put it on hold. Okay. Yeah, it was just it's an interesting book. Interesting. Oh, Ava Freeman has a new one coming out, Deidre. I meant to tell you that.
The one that was it Finding Joy? No, that was Adriana Herrera. Ava
Um,
Freeman, I think we've read that together.
Ava Freeman is the author who wrote the After Hours.
Oh, okay.
She
Let
has a
me
new
put
one
that on my
coming out
radar.
called Love's Divine. And she sent me an early copy
Oh,
of it.
ooh, you got the tea. I'm putting it on my list right now.
I don't know when I don't know when it's supposed to come out. Yeah. Four Letter Word by Ava Freeman.
It
I
said the
read the
second. It's Kindle says February 2nd is when it's supposed to come out.
Really? Did it just come
That's
out then? She
hmm
just sent
you
it
said
to me. She just sent it to me not too long ago.
you said Love's Divine.
Yeah, Love's Divine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, then it's probably already out.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I like that cover. Yeah, Kindle's good about that, about suggesting books because you read one. I really don't have to read more than one, really.
Yeah, you're right.
Mhm.
It's a new book, Sapphic as well. Yeah, it is another Sapphic romance. I believe that Ava Freeman only writes Sapphic romance, if I'm not mistaken. I'm like 90% sure that she only writes Sapphic romance. At least everything that I've seen by her has been Sapphic romance. I haven't read her other series, which is the Friends and Lovers series. I haven't read that. But those are all Sapphic. Excuse me. Yeah, everything. I'm just double checking myself.
Yeah,
But yeah, all of her stuff is Sapphic.
I've got I've got to clean out. I've got to do a Kindle clean out soon.
I think I need to as well. Oh,
Um,
look who popped up on my thing, Nia Forrester.
she got something new coming out.
No, I was looking at Ava Freeman stuff and KU
Oh,
recommended Nia Forrester,
mm.
which
I've
is
got so many Brenda Jackson, some of her backlist stuff on my Kindle.
um I'm about to go look at mine.
I love all these fantasy retellings. I mean, fairy tale retellings. So let me make that a little something to read. Theme.
Um um Common room talks. I I I think content. I don't. I think the way content is represented is um is what is supposed to define the difference between YA and adult, as well as from a library standpoint, when we start looking at things in terms of ease of access and in writing structure, and how language is used. This is what's supposed to happen. I don't think that it's happening very well right now, in terms of YA being an age categorization. Um, because I don't ever look at YA in terms of like character. Like Miss W would say, reader. I'm the same way. Character age to me does not define what the target audience is, but I think that the explicitness of the content and the way in which it is written, I think those combining factors are what is supposed to define the difference. But what is happening right now is that, because publishing is a money making industry, the individuals who are reading YA, I mean, I can even tell you this from a librarian standpoint, that the people who come in and check out YA are not the intended audience. Um, you'll see more adults coming in to check out YA than actual teens in between the ages of 12 to 18. So I think what's happening now is that um, you have authors who are writing under the guise of YA, and it's not really YA anymore, which is weird to me because for all of that, you might as well write with the intention of targeting um, an adult audience because that's who's reading the books. But for some reason, I think consumers like the tag of YA, which is crazy. it, it's not supposed to be a marketing thing, but I think that it's slowly turned into a marketing thing. But the history of YA, um, the history of YA is very, very important to the literary world, but I think sometimes that purpose is kind of lost. Um, can you give an example of a YA book that you think has had overtly sexual situations? Because the only reason why I say that is because I think that I know some people who consider sex in YA to be taboo in general, but I mean, if we're being perfectly honest, a lot of the people, a lot of, and I'm not saying all, but I think healthy sexual representation is important in books because sometimes that is the only sexual representation and education that some kids get. Um, and it is stuff, regardless of whether parents or adults or whoever want to see them doing it, because I'm just thinking about my own child and I just am like, hell no. Um, it happens, you know? Um, and I think it's all about in the manner in which it's done. Yeah, I don't know. I think that people have a hard time transitioning. Um, I think people seem to have a hard time transitioning between um adult and or YA from adult, but I don't really understand why. It's the whole concept, and I'm not shaming anybody for reading children's literature because um, at the end of the day, I am a youth services librarian, so I'm going to advocate for it. But I think that it shouldn't be written with adults in mind at all. I don't think it should. The concern of whether it will appeal to adults is the problem for me because this is not for them. But I think that from the marketing side of publishing companies, they know that financially it is adults who's driving that market. So they're gonna appeal to them because they're the ones who's putting money in their pockets, which is a really fucked up situation because then the kids are really losing when it's all said and done. Not that the kids don't enjoy the books, but um, I think that it's for them, but I think adults get in the way, and not every author does that. Not every publishing house does that, but you do see that.
Yeah, I can't think of a book that I've read that, but also I think about what I was doing when, when I was that age. So
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
what
know.
I'm saying.
Uh,
That's what I said. Like I think about what I was doing at like 16, um,
I do agree
17.
with Chris here, though. When the characters act older, I can think about what is that one book? Let me look at my Goodreads. It might take me a minute, but there was a book I
Um,
read recently that was like, why? Oh, maybe it wasn't that I that they categorized it as YA. I think I just made it YA, and that was the year of the witching. When you were saying was in your live last night, you were saying that it's not
yeah,
YA,
it's not YA.
and I was like, actually, it's not. But I think I thought that because of the girl on the cover and the age of
And
most
the
of
age,
the
yeah, yeah.
main characters. Like, how is the age of the main characters not part of how that is characterized?
Because I think that you can write. I think you can write um, outside of. I think you could, because for me, I don't. For me personally, when I look at it from when I look at it from a librarian perspective, the age of the characters is not relevant. It is the content surrounding them that becomes more important than the age.
Okay.
Um, which is, I think, sometimes can be a confusing factor because I think a lot of people associate age um, with categorization, especially when you start looking at children's books and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like that. That usually it
Mm-hmm.
usually seems to follow a rule of thumb. But teen lit is so new. It's not as old as people think it is. So it causes hiccups in what we would practically assume as you know characters following the same age. But for me, I don't pay. I mean, I don't pay attention to age, but age is not a determining factor for me when I think about whether I would put this book out for my kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's the content surrounding the characters that make all the difference. So the Year of the Witching is not one that I would openly, I would never censor them. Like if they came to me and they said, "Oh, I want to check this book out," I can't stop them from doing that. But it's not one that I personally would openly recommend to a 16-year-old. I just think thematically and content wise, they're not ready for that.
Yeah. And I didn't even second guess, even with the cover of A Black God's Drum, has that young girl on it too. But I never for one second thought that that was a YA book. So that's interesting. I just, uh, what's the word? I just contradict myself. But yeah, I never for once thought that The Black God's Drum was a YA book. But that main character is a child. Oh, that
I
makes
mean, a lot of this stuff that we're talking about too, y'all, is circumstantial. There is no blanket answer for any of this because a lot of elements that people feel uncomfortable with, or a lot of elements that um, people like, or whatever the case may be, could be very relevant and very very important in someone's own personal experience. Like I just think about the fact that you just said like you read Push at 16. Well,
Mhm.
I wouldn't recommend it to the kids that I work with because I know my kids and I know that they're not ready for that. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Um, but there could be other teens that are the same age that are ready for that. You know, it's a lot of this stuff is case by case, even with kind of here, like with the legend born about the two boys being described as they're teens, but they're being physically being described as men. I see both sides of that. It can be problematic because you are it could be seen as over sexualizing or aging teen characters in a physical way, but there are people in real life who do hit puberty and they do look like, you know what I'm saying? So it is a very, very tricky thing to even have a conversation about because I don't think that there's a blanket answer for anything, for any of this. Especially when you start
Mhm.
looking at it in a case by case basis. Um, what you would recommend, what is appropriate, what's not appropriate. Um, you know, Sarah J. Maas's books are, I saw this comment earlier, her Throne of Glass books are a bit tamer than her Court of Thorns and Roses. We actually pulled her Court of Thorns and Roses books out of the teen section and we've reclassified them as adult because of content. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Mhm.
even if the publisher was still trying to market them as YA and keep them in the YA section of bookstores, you did have library systems that were like, you know, there's graphic sex on page. Um,
Mhm.
and not saying that they're not, you know, teens out there that are reading this book that are not engaging in sexual activity, but the content itself would not fit within the framework of what would traditionally be considered a teen or a YA novel. It's a lot of nuanced argument that goes into that, and it's all about the history as well of the history of how the categorization of teen even came about, um, how it existed in the 60s and 70s and 80s, and how it's progressed. I mean, I hate to bring this series up, but it's a damn good example because I was talking to somebody about this the other day. Think about the Harry Potter series, right?
Mhm.
What do most people say Harry Potter series is? Children's or middle grade,
Yeah.
right? I
Yeah.
don't believe that. I personally, content wise, I will say that books 1 through 3 are middle grade and books 4 through 7 are YA
I agree with
because
that. That's how I think of them.
because of the content. You know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
then
Mhm.
your life experiences, your level of training, your um your perspectives, the history, all of that ties into it, and it's not as straightforward. I think sometimes as people think.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of heavy themes and sex positivity can be in YA, while some authors can definitely be doing too much for that sector. Yeah, there. I think it's the way that it's done is a huge factor. I think that um, how it wraps into the narrative of the entire story, how it is presented, how it is handled, how if it's causing a conflict, how is it resolved? All of that is a big deal in and how it's kind of I feel like graphic descriptions and sections versus the mentioning sections to differentiate adult and what a content. Um, yeah, most people I think would say that. Because I think for the most part, Sarah J. Maas is the one who really messed a lot of that up. To be honest with you, I'm not gonna lie to you. She caused a lot of issues with introducing the Court of Thorns and Roses series as YA. She really did. She messed a lot of that up because until that point, I feel like a lot of YA that had sex on page was very much so not heavily descriptive, or the majority of it was fade to black. So you knew sex was happening, but it wasn't 22 pages into A Quarter Mist and Fury. You have people, I mean, she's having sex with a fairy, like straight up descriptions, like orgasm on page type of stuff. That to me was, and that was really the key point for a lot of librarians to say this can't sit in teen. Like A Court of Thorns and Roses, maybe it pushed the envelope, but the second one crossed the line.
So we're at like 10 after 12. Do you want to
Yeah,
try to
yeah,
wrap
yeah,
us up?
yeah.
Because we
We
do
could,
have to do this again and stuff.
yeah, we do. Oh, we do.
Okay. So we thank y'all for coming out to the after hours, and a lot of y'all were at our first conversation. I'm just gonna play our intro and say good night.
Good night, y'all.
Good night.